You wake before the light arrives, not because you want to, but because something in this world has already decided that rest is over. The air is cold. It presses softly against your face, slipping through the small cracks in the wooden walls. There is no glass here, only shutters, only gaps. You don't move yet for a moment. You just lie there, listening. A distant rooster, not yours, someone else's. Far enough to feel unreal, but close enough to remind you the day has already begun. Your body feels heavy, not tired in the way you understand today, but used, worn. The straw beneath you shifts slightly as you breathe. It rustles, a quiet, dry sound. You can smell it. Earth, dust, a hint of something old, something that has been used for too many nights. There is someone beside you. You don't turn to look. You already know. They are still asleep, or maybe pretending to be. The warmth between you is faint now. The night has taken most of it. You slowly inhale. The air is sharper this time. It settles in your chest and stays there a little too long. You could stay like this for a few seconds more. You could pretend the day hasn't started, but it has, and it will move on without you. You open your eyes. There is almost nothing to see, just shapes, shadows, the outline of the ceiling above you, dark beams crossing each other like quiet lines that never change. You've seen them every morning, and still they feel distant. You sit up slowly. The cold follows you immediately. It wraps around your shoulders, slips down your back. You don't react. You're used to this. Your feet touch the ground. The floor is harder than you expect, even though you expect it every time. You don't speak. No one does. Not yet. The morning does not belong to words. It belongs to movement. You reach for the small pile of wood left from last night. Your fingers are slower now, stiff. The cold has settled into them. You feel it in the joints, in the way they hesitate before closing. You take a piece of kindling, thin, light. It almost feels fragile enough to break in your hand. You place it carefully, then another, and another. The structure matters, even if no one ever taught you how. You learned by watching, by failing, by doing it wrong until it worked. The ashes from last night are still there, soft, gray, holding the memory of heat that is already gone. You move them slightly, searching for something still alive, a spark, a trace of warmth. And there it is, small, almost nothing, but not nothing. You lean closer. Your breath slows. You don't rush this. You can't. You exhale gently. The air leaves your mouth in a soft stream, barely visible. And for a moment, nothing happens. Then, a faint glow. It responds, not strongly, but enough. You repeat the motion, slow, careful. The flame begins to form. It's weak, uncertain, like it's deciding whether it wants to exist at all. You wait. You don't force it. This part cannot be forced. The fire grows, not quickly, but steadily. It takes hold of the wood, crawls across it in quiet lines, and suddenly, there is warmth. It's small, but real. You feel it first on your hands, then your face. It changes everything. Not dramatically, not all at once, but enough to remind you, this day can begin. The room is different now. Not brighter, but softer. The fire has changed the air. It moves gently, pushes the cold back just a little. You reach for the bread. It's where you left it. Hard. The surface rough against your fingers. You press it lightly. It doesn't give much. This is not fresh. Not today. It rarely is. You bring it closer. Break a piece. It resists at first, then cracks. The sound is dry, sharp. It echoes more than it should in the quiet room. You pause for a moment, just holding it, feeling the texture. The edges uneven, the inside dense. You take a bite. It's slow. You don't rush eating. There's no reason to. The taste is simple, almost nothing. And yet, you notice it, every time. The faint grain, the dryness that pulls the moisture from your mouth. You chew carefully. Your jaw moves in a steady rhythm. This is familiar. This is routine. You swallow. It takes a moment longer than you expect. You feel it move down, slow, deliberate. You take another bite, smaller this time. You've learned that too. The fire cracks softly beside you, a quiet companion, the only sound that doesn't ask anything from you. You sit there for a while, eating slowly, not thinking too far ahead, not thinking about the work waiting outside. Just this moment, just the warmth, just the simple act of continuing. You stand slowly. The warmth fades the moment you move away from the fire. It lingers for a second, then disappears. The air finds you again. You feel it along your neck, your arms, your face. You reach for your clothes. They are where you left them. Heavy, rough. The fabric is stiff in places. You pull them on without thinking. There is no mirror here, no need to look. You already know how you appear. You've looked the same for a long time. You move toward the door. It creaks softly when you push it open. The sound is familiar. It belongs to this place. The outside air is colder. It greets you without hesitation. It doesn't wait for you to adjust. You step out anyway. The ground beneath your feet is uneven, packed earth, mixed with traces of yesterday, small marks, small reminders of things that have already happened. The sky is still dim, not dark, not light, something in between, a quiet grey that stretches without end. You look around briefly. Other doors are opening, other figures stepping out, slow movements. No one rushes. There is time, but not much. No one speaks, not yet. You hear footsteps, the soft shift of bodies moving into the day. It all blends together, a rhythm without words. You take a breath. It feels different out here, wider, empty. And for a moment, you feel it, the space, the silence before everything begins. You begin to walk. There is no signal, no announcement. You just move, because everyone does. The path is familiar. You've walked it too many times to count. Your feet know where to go, even when your mind drifts. The ground changes slightly as you move. Softer in some places, harder in others. You adjust without noticing. Small shifts, small corrections. The village fades behind you. Not completely, but enough. The sounds grow quieter, the shapes less defined. Ahead of you, the fields wait. They are still. They always are at this hour. Waiting for hands, waiting for effort. You walk beside others, not close, not far, just near enough to know you are not alone. No one speaks. The silence is not uncomfortable. It is expected. Words will come later, when they are needed. Not now. Your breath settles into a rhythm. In, out, in, out. It matches your steps. It slows your thoughts, or maybe removes them entirely. For a few moments, there is nothing else. Just movement, just direction, just the quiet understanding that this is where you must be. You don't question it. You never really have. The path continues, and you follow. You arrive without noticing the moment it happens. One step you are walking, the next, you are there. The field stretches out before you, wide, open, unfinished. It always looks the same, and always different. You step onto the soil. It feels softer here, looser. It shifts slightly under your weight. You pause for a moment, not to rest, but to adjust, to let your body understand what comes next. You look down at your hands. Lines, small cuts, traces of days that have blurred. You call of the beast, James, and the lives the slow. What it was knows. You look down at your hands. They are already marked. Lines, small cuts, traces of some. You look down at your hands. They are already marked. Traces of days that have blurred. You look down at your hands. They are already marked. Traces of days. The rites of day. Mutu, one a more camped before you. Lines not the lot have been blowed in so. I still what you know, I changed the lot of you are. You look down at your hands. They are already marked. To just let your body understand. You look down at your hands. They are already marked. Traces of days. You step onto the soil. They are already marked. Pause for a scissors of days that have not fully disappeared. You flex your fingers once, slowly, feeling the stiffness ease just a little. You reach for the tool. It is where you left it. Simple, worn, familiar. The wood fits into your grip like it remembers you. You lift it. It has weight, not too much, but enough to matter. You position yourself. There is no instruction, no voice telling you what to do. You already know. You begin. The first movement is always the hardest, not physically, but in the way it breaks the stillness. The tool meets the earth, a dull sound, solid, final. It sinks in just enough. You pull back, then again, and again. The rhythm builds slowly, not forced, not rushed. Each motion follows the last. You don't think about how long this will last. You don't measure the time. You just continue. The field does not resist. It does not help. It simply receives what you give. And so, you give it. The movement continues. Not faster, not slower, just the same. The tool rises, falls, meets the earth again, and again, and again. The sound becomes familiar, dull, steady, almost comforting if you stop noticing it. But you don't stop. You just stop thinking about it. Your body takes over. Your hands know the angle, the pressure, the timing. You no longer decide each motion. It simply happens. The soil breaks apart in small pieces, loose, dark, yielding just enough to keep you going. You step forward slightly, then repeat. There is no clear beginning, no clear end, only continuation. You hear others around you, the same motion, the same rhythm, multiplied, not loud, but present. It blends into something larger, something constant. You breathe in time with it. Your shoulders rise, fall. Your grip tightens, loosens. A quiet cycle forming without effort. For a moment, you lose track of where you are, not physically, but somewhere inside. The The field stretches without edges. The task continues without pause. And you are just part of it. Time moves, but not in a way you can measure. There is no clock, no shadow you're watching closely. Only the feeling that something has passed. Your arms begin to feel it first. A dull heaviness. Not sharp, not painful, just there. It settles into your muscles, slowly, like it belongs. You adjust your grip slightly. Not enough to change anything, just enough to continue. Your back follows, a quiet tension building. It doesn't stop you. It never does. It just reminds you that you are still here, still doing the same motion, still moving through the same space. You pause for a fraction of a moment, not fully stopping, just enough to shift your weight, then continue. The rhythm returns immediately. It always does. There is no decision in it anymore, only habit, only repetition, only the quiet understanding that this will go on for as long as it needs to, and you will be here for as long as you must. At some point, you begin to notice the world again. Not all at once, just small pieces. The wind moves lightly across the field. It brushes past you, then disappears. It doesn't stay long enough to matter, but you feel it. The sky has changed slightly. Brighter now, but still soft, still distant. You hear birds somewhere above, not close enough to see, not important enough to follow, just there. Their sound rises, then fades, then returns again. No pattern you need to understand. You continue working. The tool still rises, falls, meets the ground. The rhythm does not break. It blends with everything else. The wind, the birds, the distant movement of others, all of it existing together without asking anything from you. You don't need to react. You don't need to think. You just remain inside it, inside the motion, inside the quiet repetition. And slowly, everything becomes one steady sound. At some point, you stop noticing when one movement ends and the next begins. There is no clear line between them anymore. The tool rises. It falls. It rises again. But you no longer count. You no longer follow. The rhythm has become something else, something continuous, something that doesn't need your attention. Time moves quietly here. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't show you how much has passed. It simply goes. You try for a moment to feel it, to measure it, but there is nothing to hold on to, no signal, no change strong enough to mark it. And so, you let it go. You stop trying. The field remains, the motion remains, your breath remains, and everything else fades into the background. You are still moving, still working, but it feels lighter. Not easier, not less demanding, just less noticed. As if the effort has been spread out, as if time itself has softened around you. Your hands keep moving, even when your thoughts begin to drift. You notice it briefly, the way your body doesn't wait for you. It doesn't ask. It doesn't slow down. It simply continues. The tool lifts, falls. The soil breaks apart. The pattern holds. You are still here. Of course you are, but not entirely. Not in the way you were before. Part of you has stepped back, quietly, without effort. It watches from somewhere distant, not judging, not thinking, just observing. The rest of you keeps going. Your shoulders rise, fall. Your grip adjusts automatically. You don't tell it to. It just happens. You feel the weight again, but softer now, duller, more familiar. It no longer interrupts. It blends in, becomes part of the rhythm. And for a moment, you understand something simple. You don't need to think. You don't need to decide. You only need to continue. And your body already knows how. The light changes so slowly, you almost don't see it. It was grey before. Now, there is something warmer. Not bright, not strong, just a slight shift. A soft presence spreading across the field. You notice it on the ground first. The way the soil looks different. Less cold, more defined. Then on your hands. The faint warmth touching your skin. It doesn't last long. It comes and goes as you move. But it's there. The air feels different too. Not warmer exactly. Just less sharp, less cutting. You take a breath, and it settles more easily in your chest. You don't stop working. The rhythm continues. But something has changed. Not in what you do, but in how it feels. The world has moved forward quietly, and you have moved with it, without noticing, without needing to. And somewhere in that slow shift, the morning begins to fade. At some point, the light stops changing. It settles above you. Not moving, not shifting, just there. The sun is higher now. You don't look at it directly. You don't need to. You feel it instead. On your shoulders, on the back of your neck. A steady warmth. Not gentle, not harsh, just constant. It doesn't come and go like before. It stays. The air feels thicker, heavier. It presses down slightly. Not enough to stop you, but enough to slow everything. Your movements begin to change. Not in form, but in pace. The tool still rises, still falls. But there is a slight delay now. A fraction of a second longer between each motion. You don't force it. You don't try to keep the old rhythm. It fades on its own, replaced by something slower, something deeper. You breathe in, and it fills you more fully. You breathe out, and it lingers just a little longer. The field is quieter now, not silent, but softer. The sounds stretch out, lose their sharpness. Everything feels extended, as if the day itself has begun to slow, and you follow it. The heaviness returns, but different this time. Not just in your arms, not just in your back. It spreads further, settles deeper. Your shoulders carry it first, then your chest, then your legs. It moves through you slowly, until it becomes everywhere. You pause, not completely, just enough to lean slightly, to shift the weight from one side to the other. Your grip loosens for a moment, then tightens again. You continue. The motion is still there, but softer, less defined. The edges blur slightly. Each movement flows into the next without resistance. You don't think about finishing. You don't think about stopping. Those ideas feel distant now, unimportant. All that remains is this slow repetition, this steady effort that no longer asks for your full attention. Your eyes drift for a second, not closing, just softening. The field in front of you loses its sharp lines, becomes something wider, something easier to look at. And for a moment, you feel it. A quiet pull, downward, inward. Not strong, not urgent, but constant. You notice it slowly, not as a sharp feeling, not as a demand, just an absence, something missing. Your body tells you in small ways. Your movements become slightly less precise, your breath a little heavier, your hands a little slower. You pause again, this time longer. The tool rests lightly in your grip. You don't set it down, you just hold it. You swallow. Your mouth feels dry. There is a faint taste still lingering from the morning bread, but it's almost gone. You don't rush to eat. Not yet. There is no signal telling you it's time. Only the quiet understanding that your body is changing. But something inside you is asking, softly. You take a breath and let it out slowly. The warmth of the sun presses gently against your skin. The field stretches endlessly in front of you, and for a moment, everything feels suspended. Not moving forward, not moving back, just waiting. And you wait with it. At some point, you stop. Not suddenly, not as a decision. It just happens. The motion fades, the tool lowers, and your body doesn't lift it again. You stand there for a moment, holding still, as if waiting for something to tell you what comes next. But nothing does. And so, you let go. You move to the side slowly, each step softer than before, less certain. Not because you are unsure, but because there is no need to rush anymore. You find a place to sit. The ground is uneven, but it doesn't matter. You lower yourself carefully. Your body feels heavier as you do, as if the weight you've been carrying all morning is finally allowed to settle. You exhale, and it leaves you slowly, longer than before. Your shoulders drop. You don't hold them up anymore. Your hands rest in your lap, loose, open. For the first time since morning, you are not moving, and the stillness feels different. Not empty, not quiet in the same way as before, but full. Full of everything that has already happened, and everything that no longer needs to continue. The sun rests above you, still, constant. But now, you feel it differently. Not as pressure, not as something to work through, but as something that simply exists. The warmth spreads across your skin, slowly, evenly. It settles into your shoulders, your arms, your face. You don't adjust. You don't move away. You let it stay. The air barely moves now. If it does, it's too soft to notice. Your breathing slows on its own. You don't guide it. You don't control it. It just changes. In, longer. Out, softer. Each breath blending into the next without effort. Your eyes drift slightly, not closing, not focusing. The field in front of you becomes distant, less detailed, more like a shape than a place. You hear sounds still, the wind, a distant voice, perhaps someone moving nearby. But they don't reach you fully. They stay at the edges, faint, unimportant. And you remain here, in the warmth, in the stillness, in this quiet space where nothing is required of you. You reach for the bread again, slowly, not because you are hungry in a sharp way, but because your body remembers. The movement is unhurried. Your fingers close around it gently. You bring it closer. Break a piece. The sound is softer this time, or maybe you just hear it differently. You hold it for a moment, feeling the rough edges, the weight of something simple, something enough. You take a bite. It's slower than before. You don't rush to chew. You let it sit for a second, then begin. The motion is steady, repetitive, but relaxed. Your jaw moves without tension. You swallow. And it feels easier now, less effort, more natural. You take another bite, smaller. You don't need much, not right now. The warmth of the sun, the stillness of your body, the slow rhythm of your breath, they fill the space where urgency used to be. You sit there, eating slowly, not thinking about what comes next, not thinking about returning to the field, just this moment, just the quiet act of continuing without effort. At some point, you know you have to move again. Not because you want to, not because anything tells you directly, but because the stillness has lasted long enough. You feel it in a quiet way, a gentle shift inside you. You take a breath. It's deeper now, heavier. You place your hands against the ground and push, slowly. Your body rises with more effort than before. Not painful, not difficult, just delayed. As if each part of you takes a moment longer to follow. You stand and remain there for a second, long enough to feel the weight return, not all at once, but gradually. Your shoulders settle, your arms hang loosely, your head stays still. You look ahead. The field is the same. It has not changed. It has been waiting. And now, you are here again. You don't move immediately. You let the moment stretch just a little longer. Just enough to feel the difference between rest and what comes next. You begin again. The first step feels slower than it should. Not wrong, not unnatural, just heavy. The ground shifts beneath your feet. You notice it more now. The softness, the unevenness, the small resistance in each step. You reach for the tool. It is where you left it, unchanged, waiting. You lift it. The weight feels different. Not greater, but more present, more noticeable in your hands. You position yourself again. There is no rush, no urgency. The rhythm does not return immediately. It takes time. The first movement is slower. The second follows. After that, the pattern begins to form again. But it's not the same as before. It's softer, less defined. The edges blur slightly. Each motion flows into the next without sharpness. You don't force the old rhythm. You let this new one exist. Heavier, slower, quieter, and your body adjusts to it without asking. You continue working, but something inside you remains elsewhere. Not gone, not asleep, just distant. Your hands move, the tool rises, falls. The soil breaks apart, but your thoughts drift. They don't stay in one place. They don't follow a clear line. They come and go, softly, without weight. You notice something for a moment, the sound of the wind, the feeling of the sun. Then it fades, replaced by something else, a memory, a thought that doesn't fully form. Then that fades too. There is no effort in it, no need to hold on to anything, no need to understand. You remain here, and yet not entirely. The field stretches before you, but it feels farther away, less defined, more like something you pass through than something you are inside. And the rhythm continues, slow, steady, unbroken, carrying you forward, even as part of you quietly drifts. At some point, the light changes again. Not suddenly, not enough to catch your full attention, but enough to be felt. The warmth of the sun begins to fade slightly. It no longer presses down in the same way. It lingers, then slowly pulls back. The air shifts with it, becomes lighter, cooler in small, quiet ways. You notice it on your skin first, the back of your neck, your arms, a faint difference. You don't stop working, the rhythm continues. But something inside you responds to the change. Your movements slow just a little more. Not by choice, not by effort. They simply ease. The field in front of you looks different now, the edges softer, the colors less sharp, more blended, more distant. You blink once, slowly, and when your eyes open again, it all feels a little further away, as if the day itself is beginning to step back, and you are moving with it.
The tiredness settles deeper now, not in waves, not in sudden drops, but in a steady, quiet presence. Your arms feel heavier than before, your grip less firm, your shoulders lower without you noticing. You continue. The motion is still there, but it carries less force, less intention. Each movement feels like it finishes itself. You don't push it, you don't guide it, you just allow it to happen. Your breathing slows again, not from rest, but from something else, something softer, something closer to letting go. You pause for a moment, the tool resting lightly against the ground. You don't set it down, you don't lift it, you just remain. And in that pause, you feel it clearly. The weight, the quiet pull downward, the sense that everything is beginning to settle, not ending, not stopping, just slowing enough that it no longer needs your full attention. You begin again, but the field no longer feels the same. It stretches out before you, but it doesn't feel close. It feels farther away, like something you are watching instead of standing inside. Your movements continue. The tool rises, falls. The soil shifts. But it all feels quieter now, more distant, more contained within itself. You hear the sounds around you, but they don't reach you fully. They stay soft, faded, like echoes that never quite arrive. You blink again, slower this time. Your eyes remain open, but your focus loosens. The details blur slightly, the edges soften further, and for a moment, you feel it clearly. You are still here, still standing, still moving, but part of you has already begun to drift somewhere else, somewhere quieter, somewhere softer, somewhere the day no longer holds you as tightly. And the rhythm continues, carrying what remains of you forward without resistance. At some point, you realize the work is ending, not through a signal, not through a voice, but through a quiet understanding. The movements slow even further. The tool rises with less height, falls with less force. The soil beneath you no longer resists in the same way. Or maybe you no longer notice it. You complete one motion, then another, and then you stop. Not suddenly, not as a decision. It just fades. Your hands lower. The tool rests against the ground, and this time, you don't lift it again. You remain standing for a moment, feeling the absence of motion, the space where the rhythm used to be. It feels different, lighter, but also strange, as if something constant has quietly disappeared. You take a breath, and it moves through you slowly, deeper than before. You don't rush to leave. You don't move immediately. You let the stillness settle. Let it fill the space that work once held. And for a moment, you are simply here, with nothing left to continue. You release the tool. The weight leaves your hands slowly. Not all at once, but enough that you feel the difference immediately. Your fingers relax, open slightly, then rest at your sides. The tension you've been holding all day begins to fade. Not completely, not instantly, but gradually. Your shoulders drop a little lower. Your arms hang more loosely.
Your body no longer prepares for the next motion. There is no next motion. You take another breath, and it feels different. Less effort, more space. The air moves in and out without resistance. You shift your weight slightly, from one foot to the other, not because you need to, but because you can. Because nothing is asking you to remain still, or to continue. You look ahead. The field remains, but it no longer holds you. You are no longer part of its rhythm. You are separate now, free from the repetition, free from the quiet demand to continue. And in that separation, there is a softness, a release, a quiet sense that the day is already beginning to fall away. You turn slowly, not sharply, not with purpose, just enough to face a different direction. The field moves out of your view. It doesn't disappear completely, but it no longer fills your sight. Instead, there is the path, familiar, unchanged, waiting in the same quiet way it always has. You take a step. The first one feels lighter than you expect, not because you have more energy, but because you are no longer carrying the same weight. The second step follows, then another. The rhythm returns, but different now. Not repetitive, not demanding, just movement. The air feels cooler as you walk, the warmth of the day fading behind you. You don't look back. There is no need. What has been done remains done, and what remains will wait until tomorrow. You walk slowly, not to delay, not to hurry, just to move. And with each step, the day becomes more distant, more quiet, more like something that has already passed. And you continue forward, into what comes next. You walk along the path again, the same path as before, but it feels different now. The ground is still uneven, still familiar, but your steps are slower, softer, each one landing with less weight. The village begins to appear ahead, shapes forming gradually, outlines of roofs, walls, doors. Nothing has changed, and yet everything feels quieter. You are no longer moving toward work. You are moving away from it. And that changes the way your body carries itself. Your shoulders remain low. Your arms swing gently without effort. You don't need to think about where you are going. Your feet remember. The path guides you in the same quiet way it always has. You pass others, some walking beside you, some ahead, some behind. No one speaks. There is no need for words. The silence is shared, understood. You breathe in, and the air feels cooler now, lighter, easier to hold. And as you continue walking, the distance behind you grows. The field fades. The rhythm of work disappears. And what remains is only this slow return. The sky begins to change again. This time, you notice it more. The light softens further, losing its strength, losing its hold. The brightness fades into something warmer, deeper. The colors shift slowly, across the horizon, across the edges of everything you see. You don't stop to watch, but you feel it. The way the world becomes calmer, less defined, less demanding. The air cools gently around you. It brushes against your skin. And this time, it doesn't wake you. It soothes you. Your eyes relax. The focus loosens. The details of the village blur slightly. Not disappearing, just softening into something easier to take in. You blink once, and the world feels quieter when your eyes open again, as if the light itself is dimming everything. Not just what you see, but what you feel. And as the sun lowers, something inside you lowers with it, slowly, naturally, without resistance. You approach your home. It looks the same as it did this morning. Simple, still, waiting. The door stands where you left it, unchanged. You slow your steps, not because you need to, but because there is nowhere else to go, nothing left to reach. You stop for a moment just outside. Not long, just enough to feel the end of the path behind you, the quiet of the evening settling around you, the last of the light fading gently across the walls. You take a breath, and it moves through you slowly, calmly, without effort. Your body feels heavier now, but not in the way it did before. Not from work, not from strain. This is different. This is the weight of slowing, the weight of something coming to rest. You reach for the door. The wood is cool beneath your hand, familiar, solid. You pause for a second longer, and then you begin to open it. You push the door open slowly. The hinges respond with a soft, familiar sound. Not loud, not sharp, just enough to mark the shift. You step inside, and immediately the outside begins to fade. The air is different here, still, calm, holding a quiet warmth that has been waiting for you. The light is lower now, dimmer. The last traces of day no longer reach fully inside. You close the door behind you, and the sound settles into the room. A soft, final note. Then, nothing. The outside is gone. Not completely, but far enough that it no longer touches you. You stand there for a moment, not moving, not thinking, just feeling the change. The space around you holds still. The walls, the air, the silence. All of it forming something enclosed, something separate. And as you remain there, the day loosens its grip completely. You move toward the hearth, the place where the morning began. It waits the same way it did before, quiet, patient. You kneel slowly. Your body lowers with less resistance now, as if it has already accepted what comes next. You reach for the wood, the small pieces left nearby. They feel lighter in your hands, or maybe you simply feel less need to notice their weight. You place them carefully, arranging them without thought. The motion is slower than in the morning, but smoother, more relaxed. You find the remains of the old ash, shift it gently, searching for warmth. And again, there is something still there, a faint trace, not gone, not finished. You lean closer, your breath steady, slow. You exhale softly, and the ember responds, a small glow growing quietly into something more. The flame begins again, weak at first, then steady. It spreads across the wood, not rushing, not struggling, just existing. You sit back slightly. The warmth reaches you again, not sharp, not strong, but enough. It touches your hands, your face, and everything begins to soften once more. The fire settles into a steady rhythm. It cracks softly. A gentle, irregular sound that fills the space without breaking it. You sit nearby, not too close, not too far. Just enough to feel the warmth without needing to move. Your body relaxes further. Your shoulders drop completely now. There is no tension left to hold. Your hands rest loosely, either in your lap or beside you. You don't notice exactly when it happens. It just does. Your breathing slows again. In, soft, out, longer. The air moves easily. No resistance, no effort. The room around you fades slightly. Not disappearing, but becoming less important. The walls blur into the background. The shapes lose their edges. The fire remains. The sound, the warmth, the gentle rise and fall of light. And that is enough. That is all you need to notice. You sit there, doing nothing, needing nothing. And slowly, everything begins to quiet, even more. At some point, you feel it. The quiet pull to rest. Not strong, not sudden. Just there. You don't question it. You don't resist. You simply follow. You shift your body slowly, turning away from the fire, leaving the warmth just behind you. Not gone, just distant enough. You lower yourself onto the straw again. The same place as before. The same surface. Rough, familiar. But it feels different now. Softer. Or maybe you are softer. The weight of your body settles into it completely. There is no effort in holding yourself up anymore. No need to stay alert. Your head finds its place naturally. You don't adjust, you don't search. It's already enough. You exhale, and the breath leaves you slowly, longer than before, as if something inside you is finally letting go. Your arms rest where they fall. No tension, no direction. Your hands loosen completely, fingers slightly open. No need to hold, no need to prepare. Your legs grow heavier. They sink into the ground beneath you, not deeply, but enough to feel supported, to feel held. Your shoulders drop further than before. If they could drop any more, they would. And then they stop. Not because they must, but because there is nothing left to release. Your breathing continues, slow, steady, effortless, in and out, without interruption. Each breath softer than the last. Each exhale carrying something away. You don't follow it. You don't think about what is leaving. You just let it go. The room around you fades further. The fire still exists. The sound still moves quietly. But it no longer asks for your attention. It remains in the distance. A gentle presence that does not need to be watched. Your eyes grow heavier. You don't close them immediately. They remain slightly open. For a moment, long enough to see the last shapes around you. The faint glow of the fire. The shadows moving slowly across the walls. But even that begins to blur. The edges soften. The light dims. Your focus drifts. And then, your eyes close. Not firmly, not all at once. Just gently. They come together without effort, without decision. And behind them, there is less. There are no clear thoughts, no images that stay, no direction for your mind to follow. Only a soft darkness, a quiet space, where everything slows even further. Your breathing continues, slow, steady, unchanged. And somewhere in that quiet, you feel it. The final release. Not a moment, not a shift you can mark, but a gentle slide into something deeper, something softer, something where you no longer need to hold on to anything at all. There is no clear moment when you fall asleep. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens slowly, quietly, in pieces. Your body is already still, your breath already slow. And now, your mind begins to follow. The last traces of thought fade before they can form. They appear, then disappear, without meaning, without direction. You don't hold on to them. You don't even notice them leaving. The darkness behind your eyes deepens. Not heavier, not empty, just soft, wide, with nothing to focus on, nothing to follow. Your breathing continues. In, gentle. Out, longer. Each cycle slower than the last, as if time itself is stretching around you, as if everything is moving further apart, and you are sinking quietly between those spaces. The world is still there, but far away. The fire continues to crack softly, the wood shifting in small, quiet movements. But the sound no longer reaches you the same way. It fades at the edges, becomes distant, thin, like something carried from very far away. You don't listen to it. You don't follow it. It exists without needing you. And slowly, even that begins to fade. The spaces between sounds grow longer. The silence stretches wider, holding everything gently. Your breathing remains, the only rhythm still close, the only thing that stays steady. And even that feels softer now, less defined, less separate from everything else, as if the sound of your breath and the silence around it are becoming the same. There is nothing left to do, nothing left to follow, no movement, no thought, no need to remain aware. The body rests completely, heavy, still, fully supported. The breath continues on its own. You are no longer guiding it. You are no longer noticing it. It simply happens. The darkness remains, soft, open, without edges. There are no shapes, no images that stay, no direction for your mind to move toward. And so, it doesn't move. It settles, drifts, fades into something deeper, something quieter, something where nothing is required. And in that space, you remain, not as effort, not as awareness, but as something softer, something that no longer needs to hold on to anything at all. Nothing changes now. There is no shift, no movement to follow, no moment to notice. The stillness remains, complete, undisturbed. Your body rests exactly where it is, heavy, fully supported, without tension, without effort. The breath continues, slow, soft, even. It rises and falls, without drawing attention, without asking to be heard. The space around you holds everything gently. No edges, no interruptions, no need for anything to begin or end. And you remain within it, not aware, not thinking, not needing to be anywhere else. The quiet continues, and nothing breaks it. The rhythm stays the same. It does not speed up. It does not slow down. It simply continues. The breath moves in, then out, again and again, each cycle identical to the last. And yet, there is no counting, no awareness of how many times it has happened. It just exists, soft, constant, unbroken. The stillness holds it. The silence surrounds it. Nothing enters, nothing leaves. Everything remains exactly as it is. And in that sameness, there is comfort. There is ease. There is no reason for anything to change. And so, nothing does. There is no sense of direction. No up, no down, no near, no far. The body rests, but even that feels distant. light, undefined. The breath continues somewhere, quietly, without form, without focus. The darkness is not empty. It is soft, open, without limits. There is nothing to reach for, nothing to return to, nothing to remember. Everything has already settled. Everything has already faded. And what remains is this: gentle, unmoving, endless in the quiet. And you rest within it, without knowing, without needing, without anything left to hold. Everything remains the same. The quiet does not shift. It does not deepen. It does not fade. It simply stays. Your body continues to rest, without movement, without adjustment. There is no need to change position, no signal asking for anything different. The breath continues, slow, even unnoticed. It moves gently through you and disappears just as softly. The silence around it holds steady. No new sound enters. No change interrupts. The space remains soft, open, without edges. And you remain within it, without awareness, without effort, without any reason to move or wake. There is no time here, no sense of before, no sense of after. Only this steady calm, holding everything in place. The breath continues, its rhythm unchanged, its movement quiet and distant. Even that begins to feel like part of the silence, not separate, not distinct. Just another layer of stillness resting within you. The body remains heavy, but not in a way that can be felt, not in a way that needs to be noticed. It simply rests, complete, undisturbed, and nothing around you asks for anything more. There are no thoughts left to follow, no images that form, no memory that stays. Everything that once moved has already faded. What remains is rest, deep, unbroken, without direction. The breath continues somewhere quietly, but even that is no longer something to notice. It happens on its own, without you, without effort. The silence holds everything. The stillness keeps everything exactly where it is. And you remain here, without knowing, without needing, without anything left to begin or end. Nothing shifts. The stillness remains exactly as it is. Soft, steady, unchanged. There is no movement to follow, no sound to notice. The breath continues somewhere, quietly, evenly. It rises and falls without drawing attention, without needing to be heard. The body rests completely, heavy yet distant. No tension, no adjustment, no reason to move. The silence holds everything in place, gently, without effort, and you remain within it, without awareness, without thought, without anything asking you to return. There is no sense of drifting away, because there is nowhere to return to. No starting point, no ending point. Only this, continuous quiet. The breath moves softly, a rhythm that does not change, does not call for attention. It exists and fades and exists again, without interruption. The darkness remains open, wide, without edges. Nothing forms within it, nothing stays long enough to be known. And so, nothing is followed. Nothing is held. You remain here, Not as awareness, not as thought, but as something resting completely within the stillness.
Everything continues as it is.
The quiet does not deepen because it is already complete. The stillness does not grow because nothing needs to change. The breath continues, soft, even, unnoticed. The body remains, fully at rest. No movement, no signal, no interruption. The silence stretches endlessly, holding everything gently, without beginning, without end. And you remain within it, without knowing, without needing, without anything left to follow or become.
The silence remains unchanged, soft,
Endless, complete. There is no shift, no new sensation, no reason for anything to begin or end. The breath continues somewhere, quietly, evenly. It does not draw attention. It does not need to be followed. It simply moves, then fades, then returns again. The body rests fully, heavy, yet distant. No tension, no movement, no awareness of position. The stillness holds everything gently, without effort, without interruption. And you remain within it, without knowing, without thought, without anything pulling you away. There is no boundary to this quiet, no edge to reach, no point to return from. Everything remains open, soft, without direction. The breath continues, slow, even, unnoticed. It blends into the silence, becomes part of it, indistinguishable from the stillness around you. The body remains at rest, complete, undisturbed. There is no signal asking for change, no shift waiting to happen. And so, nothing changes. Everything stays exactly as it is. And you remain within this endless calm, without awareness, without effort, without anything left to hold. Nothing moves forward. Nothing falls behind. There is no sense of time passing, no sense of time at all. Only this steady, unchanging calm. The breath continues quietly, somewhere distant. It does not call for attention. It does not need to be known. It simply exists and fades and exists again. The silence remains full, yet empty at the same time, holding everything, without needing to be noticed. And you remain within it, without thought, without awareness, without anything left to begin or complete. Nothing changes. The stillness remains. Soft, complete, unchanged. There is no movement to follow, no sound to notice. The breath continues somewhere, quietly, evenly. It rises and falls, without drawing attention, without needing to be known. The body rests fully, heavy, yet distant. No tension, no awareness of position. The silence holds everything gently, without effort, without interruption. And you remain within it, without thought, without anything pulling you away. The stillness does not deepen, because it is already full. It does not fade, because nothing is leaving. It simply continues. The breath moves softly, unnoticed, unbroken. It blends into the silence, becomes part of it, no longer separate. The body remains at rest, complete, undisturbed. There is no signal, no shift, no change waiting to happen. And so, everything stays exactly as it is, and you remain within this quiet, without awareness, without effort, without anything left to follow. There is no beginning here, no end to reach, no moment to mark. The quiet stretches endlessly, without edges, without direction. The breath continues, slow, even unnoticed. It does not call for attention. It does not need to be followed. It simply exists and fades and exists again. The body rests fully, completely. There is nothing to release, nothing to hold. And you remain within this softness, without knowing, without needing, without anything left to become. The silence remains steady, unchanging, complete. It holds everything gently, without movement, without interruption. The breath continues somewhere, distant, soft, even. It does not stand apart. It does not draw attention. It simply blends into the stillness around you. The body remains at rest, heavy, yet without weight. No tension, no awareness. And nothing enters, nothing leaves. Everything remains exactly as it is. Nothing shifts, nothing begins, nothing ends. The quiet stays the same, soft, endless, undisturbed. The breath continues, unnoticed, unchanged. It rises and falls, without needing to be followed. The body remains fully at rest. No movement, no signal, no reason to wake. The silence stretches gently, holding everything in place. And you remain within it, without awareness, without thought, without anything asking you to return. There is no time here, no sense of before, no sense of after. Only this steady calm, unchanging, complete. The breath continues quietly, somewhere distant. It does not need to be known. It does not need to be felt. It simply moves, then fades, then returns again. The stillness holds everything gently, without effort, without interruption. And you remain within it, without knowing, without needing, without anything left to begin. Everything remains soft, open, without edges. There is no direction to follow, no place to move toward. The breath continues, slow, even, unnoticed. It blends into the silence, becomes part of it, indistinguishable from the stillness around you. The body rests completely, heavy yet distant. No tension, no movement. And the quiet holds everything, gently, without change. Nothing remains to shift. Nothing remains to fade. The quiet is complete, unchanging, endless. The breath continues somewhere, soft, distant, unnoticed. It does not call for attention. It does not need to be followed. It simply exists within the stillness. The body rests fully, without effort, without awareness, and everything remains exactly as it is, without beginning, without end. There is nothing left to follow, nothing left to hold, nothing left to become. The quiet remains, soft, endless, complete. The breath continues, somewhere, unnoticed, unchanged. The body rests, fully, completely, without effort. And you remain within this stillness, without awareness, without thought, without anything at all.
you.